Peppa Pig has a missing parent problem. And the moment you actually sit down and start counting, it stops being a small observation and starts feeling like something the town of Peppa Pig is actively trying to hide. Some kids are missing a mom, some are missing a dad, some are missing both. And a few families have so many relatives unaccounted for that you genuinely start to wonder if someone should be filing reports down at the local police station, which, by the way, is run by a squirrel whose own family situation is one of the most baffling mysteries on this entire list. So to make proper sense of it all, we are sorting every missing parent into tiers. Starting at the very top with the families who have not just lost one parent, but have somehow misplaced entire branches of their family tree. Then, moving into the parents who technically exist, but disappeared for years without so much as a phone call. And finally, landing on the ones who showed up for a single episode, said a few words, and were never heard from again. This is every missing parent in Peppa Pig, sorted by just how gone they really are. Let's get into it. Tier 1. Families missing multiple parents at once. We are starting right at the very top. And honestly, no family on this list comes anywhere close to what the sheep family is quietly dealing with. On paper, Susie Sheep has one of the biggest, fullest families in the entire show. The Peppa Pig wiki lists a daddy, a granny, a grandmom, an auntie, an uncle, and a cousin. It reads like a loud, warm, overcrowded household with people everywhere. And then you actually watch the show and you find exactly 4 sheep. Mummy Sheep, Granny Sheep, Susie herself, and teenage cousin Charlotte, who shows up to every family event like she has already been added to the will.
Charlotte, thanks for coming.
We won't be out late.
You can watch TV, and I've made you some pizza.
Oh, thank you.
Everyone else has simply evaporated. The most talked about one is Daddy Sheep. He has been listed in this show's universe for over 20 years. 20 years. And in that entire stretch of time, he has never once appeared on screen. Not a silhouette, not a voice drifting in from another room, not even a framed photograph sitting on the mantelpiece. The closest the show ever came to addressing it was a dance party episode, where Peppa turns to Susie and cheerfully suggests she can just stand on her daddy's feet if she does not know the steps.
Susie, if you stand on your daddy's feet, you don't need to know how to do the dance.
And Susie starts to answer. She opens her mouth and begins with the words,
But I don't.
And then Mummy Sheep swoops in immediately and steers the entire conversation somewhere else before Susie can finish the sentence. But I don't what, Susie? The show just moves on. That unfinished sentence has been hanging in the air for years, and nobody in Peppa Town has ever once gone back to finish it. It is, without any competition, the saddest incomplete sentence in the history of children's television. But Daddy Sheep is only the beginning. The wiki also lists a Grandmom Sheep, who is a completely separate character from the Granny Sheep who has already moved in with the family. This Grandmom Sheep is presumably Daddy Sheep's own mother, and she has never appeared on screen either. And where there is a grandmother, logic tells you there is also a grandfather. Sure enough, Grandpa Sheep is listed too. Also missing. Also never shown. Then there is Aunt Sheep and Uncle Sheep, who are Charlotte's parents, both listed, both completely invisible. Which is particularly strange because Charlotte herself shows up to every single family gathering and hands out life advice, like she has been a functioning adult for decades. She once sat in a room full of small piglets and calmly told them exactly what the future would look like. Charlotte can lecture toddlers about grown-up life without blinking. But her own parents cannot manage one single cameo between them. That is not a missing parent. That is an entire side of the family that has gone completely off the grid, and somehow nobody in Peppa Pig land has thought to bring it up even once. Now the next family in our top tier is hiding right inside Peppa's own home, because the grandparents the show gives us regularly, Granny Pig and Grandpa Pig, are Mummy Pig's parents. Daddy Pig has a brother named Uncle Pig, which means somewhere out there. Daddy Pig also has a mother and a father of his own, and they have never appeared. No names, no faces, not a single passing mention in 20 years of casual family conversation. Fans of the show have been quietly frustrated about this gap for a long time, and honestly, the frustration is completely fair. The interesting part is not just that they are absent. It is that the show has always been perfectly happy to feature grandparents everywhere else. Peppa has hers, Danny Dog has his granddad, Pedro Pony has his. The show genuinely loves a grandparent storyline. So the fact that there is a consistent, deliberate blank space exactly where Daddy Pig's parents should be starts to feel less like a writing oversight and more like a conscious decision that nobody has ever explained. What makes it more intriguing now is that Peppa Pig has actually started going back and filling in its own gaps. Auntie Dottie finally appeared after being mentioned for over a decade.
Dottie.
Auntie Dottie lives far away in another country.
Ooh.
The family welcomed a brand new baby with very little buildup. So the door to Daddy Pig's parents is not necessarily locked forever. It has just been very firmly shut for a very, very long time. And the day it finally opens, the internet will absolutely not be calm about it. And to close out our top tier, here is the one case that beats every single family on this list. Because Simon Squirrel does not just have one missing parent, he appears to have no family at all. Simon is a recurring face in Peppa's world.
You can call me Si. It's short for Simon.
And
He is 9.5 years old. He skateboards.
that's why helmets are ace.
wow!
He goes to the roller disco. He hangs around with Chloe Pig and goes by the nickname Psy. He is a completely normal kid in every visible way, but his home life is a total and complete mystery. There is no dad, never referenced, never shown. His mom is barely a clearer picture. Some fans have pointed to Police Officer Squirrel as a possible parent, but even the Peppa Pig wiki is honest enough to admit that connection is simply unknown. So the question genuinely stands: who is raising this child? Who makes his dinner? Who signs his school forms? At this point, Simon Squirrel is not a kid with a missing parent. He's a 9-year-old operating a fully independent household, and someone in that town really does need to check on him immediately. Tier 2. Parents who exist but disappeared for years. Moving into Tier 2 now, and the worst offender here is not even a close contest. Captain Daddy Dog takes this entire category by a wide margin. Danny Dog has been a main character since the very first series of the show. And for 3 complete seasons, the only adults in his life are Mummy Dog and Granddad Dog. There is no father, no explanation, no hint of where he might be or when he might return. Danny sails toy boats, plays pirates, and goes on adventures with his granddad, and the show just quietly says nothing at all about the man who should be there. Then in Series 4, the episode Captain Daddy Dog finally delivers an answer. A postcard arrives at the house. Mummy Dog reads it aloud.
He's finished his sailing trip around the world and he's coming home.
That is 3 seasons of complete absence, explained in a single sentence on a postcard. He was sailing the planet for most of his son's early childhood. That is not a short trip away for work. That is a years-long lifestyle decision that left Danny without his dad during some of the most important years of growing up. Captain Dog arrives home, brings gifts, delivers a big warm speech about how his traveling days are behind him, and he is home for good. It is a genuinely moving moment.
I've decided my travelling days are over. I've been around the world and made me fortune.
And then, the very next morning, Danny finds him standing outside in the early light, staring at the sky, checking which way the wind is blowing. Danny gently reminds him of the promise he made, and Captain Dog pauses, looks slightly caught out, and quietly admits,
Oh yes, I did say that, didn't I?
the man nearly walked back out the door after a single night. Fortunately, he stays. And to his credit, when the granddads later invite him out on the water, he turns them down to honor his word to Danny. The only time he sets foot on a boat again is when they get stranded at sea and genuinely need rescuing. So is he the perfect father? Not even close. But he is making the effort, and in this town, that puts him ahead of quite a few others. Still in Tier 2, and this next one is a different kind of missing entirely. Mummy Lion is not absent because she left. She is missing because the show barely seems to know what to do with her now that she is there. Lorenzo Lion is one of the newer kids, and his family situation is genuinely one of the most thoughtful things Peppa Pig has introduced in recent years. Lorenzo's parents are divorced. He has 2 bedrooms and 2 houses. and he mentions it completely casually to Peppa mid-conversation.
Maybe in my other bedroom? What? I have another bedroom at my mummy's house.
The easy and matter-of-fact way a child mentions something they have simply grown up knowing. And to the show's real credit, Mummy Lion actually appears. She comes to collect Lorenzo. She sits down with Mummy Pig. She is present and warm and clearly loves her son. But here is where the balance tips. Daddy Lion runs the zoo across multiple episodes. He has a recognizable role, a personality the audience has had time to understand, and a whole established presence in the show's world. Mummy Lion gets a small handful of lines, a cup of tea, and a quiet exit. Peppa Pig did something genuinely meaningful by showing a divorced family where both parents are loving and present. But even within that progressive storyline, one parent got the full story and the other got the background. Tier 3 appeared once and were never seen again, and now Tier 3. These are the parents who technically showed up, delivered their lines, and then vanished so thoroughly that the show itself seems to have forgotten they were ever written in. We are moving through these with pace because, honestly, that is exactly the level of screen time the show gave them. Mr. Bear, Belinda Bear's dad, waited 3 full years before the writers seemed to remember he might exist. He finally appeared in a Goldilocks parody episode where Peppa's family wanders into a cottage and finds Belinda's family mid-breakfast. And that is his entire contribution to the show, a bowl of porridge. 3 years of being a background footnote, and the man's big on-screen debut is sitting down to eat. He has not been seen since. Daddy Mouse and Mummy Mouse are barely an improvement. Mandy Mouse had been part of the show for 2 whole series before her dad made his first appearance, turned up once more after that, and disappeared completely. The Peppa Pig. Wiki notes that very little is known about him precisely because he shows up so rarely. When the official wiki sounds quietly disappointed in a character, you know he has not exactly left a lasting impression. And Mummy Mouse, despite Mandy featuring in loads of episodes, has only properly appeared twice. She arrives, wraps her arms around her daughter, says something gentle and loving, and is gone before the credits roll. Senora Goat, Gabriella Goat's mom, is perhaps the most uncertain entry on the entire list because there is genuine debate about whether the show has ever actually shown her at all. Gabriella gets a whole storyline set in Italy, complete with a carnival full of color and noise and atmosphere. And somewhere deep in the background of that carnival episode, there is a female goat who the wiki carefully suggests might possibly be Senora Goat. One blink and you miss it figure in a crowd scene. That is the entire recorded sighting. If that is truly her only appearance, she makes everyone else on this tier look practically famous. And finally, Mrs. Panda. And this one is the most frustrating of the lot because she has the single most interesting setup of anyone in Tier 3. She is a firefighter, she is the mother of twins. In a show built around vehicles and jobs and excitement, that combination should be television gold. Fire engines pulling up, sirens going, the kind of action that has children absolutely gripped from the sofa. Instead, Mrs. Panda has appeared twice. She had a speaking line in one of those appearances, just enough to confirm that yes, her job is firefighting. A firefighter who has never once in any episode been shown actually fighting a fire. She has the greatest job in the whole show and has spent her entire screen time standing very calmly beside a fire engine that has never moved. 5 parents, a combined screen time that would not fill a lunch break. The show gave each of them a name, gave them their moment, and then quietly put the file away and moved on. And that is every missing parent in Peppa Pig. From the families quietly missing half their relatives to the mums and dads who appeared for one scene and were never written in again. What makes the whole thing so strange is that this show absolutely knows how to write parents. Mummy Pig and Daddy Pig are funny and real and genuinely warm. The relationship between Danny Dog and his granddad is one of the most quietly touching things the whole series has ever done. The writing is clearly capable of depth and care and character. So every time a parent gets a single scene and disappears, it does not feel like the show could not do better. It feels like a choice that nobody ever thought needed explaining. But the one that stays with you long after the episode ends is Susie Sheep. Standing at a dance party, starting a sentence she was never allowed to finish. a little sheep who opened her mouth to tell the truth about something and had the words gently taken away before anyone could hear them. But I don't. 20 years on, nobody has ever gone back to find out what comes next. And somewhere in the middle of a cheerful children's cartoon about muddy puddles and sunny days, that small unfinished sentence is still just sitting there, waiting. Which missing parent do you think deserves a proper storyline? Drop your answer in the comments below. And if you want more Peppa Pig deep dives exactly like this one, the next video is already waiting for you. Thanks for watching.